Hello everyone, welcome back to Hero Wars Guide. We got a game data update along with some new events today, so I want to talk through those, the event schedule for early January, and I'll also spend a little bit of time looking at the worthiness of those events. Alright, so starting out on screen here, tonight in the US we've got Time of the Fearless. That's old news at this point. But then what we have added in, following on the heels of that, there'll be a one-day lag, and then Legacy of the Great Ones will be coming in. That's off the normal event schedule, where it's going to be during the week. So it's important to note, it looks like Legacy of the Great Ones will be coming in instead of maybe like one of the Hero Soulstone events. This is a pretty good one to be happening during the week. So I'm excited to see that. This, of course, is the event where you can get some hero artifact resource rewards. It's a pretty good return event overall. So here in the US, that'll run from Monday night through Thursday night for 3 days there. Then we'll be into the regular event schedule starting Thursday night. We're going to have Shining Ascension. And all signs point to this being the Light Titan version of the Color of the Night event we just had recently, which is to say that we have these same tasks, and we're going to have a chest out of it that gives us some Light Titan specific rewards, whether it's their soul stones or artifacts, things like that. Some little essence of the elements as well. Not a particularly high value event. Not great ROI in raw emerald values, and probably not the most appealing resource types for most people. I think Titan Souls are borderline zero value if anyone's adjusting for how badly you need something in relation to other Titan resources. And so I don't think this is going to be a great target for any big weekend spending. But we'll take a slightly deeper look into this in a few minutes when we get through the rest of the schedule. And then finally, we have Ascension to Asgard. This event has gone through at least 3 different iterations at this point. They've reworked it a few times to give different reward types and different amounts. So, I'll be interested to see what we get there. It may follow exactly what they did last time, or maybe they've rebalanced it again. Each time they've changed this event, it's gotten slightly better, but even as of the most recent, this is among the least rewarding events that I've ever measured. So unless it sees another round of improvement, this again I don't think is going to be a great target for investment. And that is going to be another Monday night through Thursday night event the following week after a one-day lag at the end of the Light Titan event. All right, so that's the schedule. I want to take a couple minutes to look through the return on any spending that you do in these events as well. All right, starting off here with a couple of disclaimers. Number one, this is the Ascension to Asgard event as we most recently saw it. It may change again since it was a pretty low quality event even after they reworked it. But this is the information that I have based on the most recent version of this event. May change again. Other thing I'd say is this is a view that is very much in progress. This is far from the final form that I think it will take. But basically this allows me to present some of the information I did in older videos months ago, where we take a look at how far you might progress into an event and what kind of rewards you get out of it. So what I have here is all the tasks listed with a slider for how deep you spend into each event, and then you get a little bit of information about the return you get out of it. So starting on the far right, this is a cumulative return on the spending that you do. So for example, on the buy emerald task, it's saying you get back a third of what you spend onto it at this 34%. So if a task requires emerald spending, then it will talk about in terms of return on the emeralds that you spend. If it's not, if it's one of these ordinary login tasks, or if it's something like using hero soul stones, something that you're using a backlog of resources on, then it's going to talk about the amount of emeralds you get per requirement. So in this case, the login task, if you complete all 3 instances of it, you get 20 emeralds worth of reward per login. And it looks like that's pretty flat, but some of these other ones you'll see more of a curve. Like this one, it looks like this line is going to tell you how valuable is each individual milestone by itself, not cumulatively through that milestone, but just the individual. So what this is telling me is like the 6th one here dips down quite a bit, so whatever the rewards are for the 6th one doesn't look quite as strong as the others. And that's not important for login and VIP so much, but might help influence where you want to end up on one of these spending tasks. This one you can see it's fairly flat throughout, but in other events that we'll look at, you can see it spikes in the middle, or spikes usually more likely than not it'll spike at the end. This one seems pretty flat throughout. All right, but you can see depending on where you end up, you may have a slightly higher or lower cumulative return on what you're spending. One of the more interesting ones here is this energy task. The rewards at the high end are quite weak, while being good in the middle, very good actually for a spend energy task. They slump down at the end. So if you were to end here, your cumulative ROI is very high at 81 or over 100%. But then if you complete more of these very low quality milestones at the end, then it'll drag down your cumulative return to barely double digits. So this is going to be a bad event to max out the spend energy on. Okay, so you can see a little bit of this. I'm not going to test out every one of these milestones, but these little lines here might give you a little bit of information there. And then these columns at the bottom are the summary of the rewards that you're going to get. And so as it's configured here, this is if you completely max out the event. This one doesn't show it well because all of the rewards are direct in their final form, but some of these events will give you loot boxes. In that case, you'd see a certain number of the loot boxes here on the left, and then the right side expanded rewards is what you'll get on average if you open all those loot boxes. So this event, those two things are the same. You get a ton of useless star mana, and then some of the other rewards here. It is nice to see an emphasis on the radiant crystal, because those are by far the most bottlenecked resources in the long term. You'll be hunting these things way longer than any of the other crystals, and even longer than the greater insignia, unless you're very stacked up in one role versus the others. And then you do get a decent chunk of the emerald reward, but I think that's coming mostly or entirely from the buy emeralds train. And yeah, you can see if I zero this out, emeralds disappears down here. So all the emeralds are purely from the buy task, which you're going to want to skip. And then if you do max out everything else, you get a handful of seeds here. But overall, these numbers are unimpressive. 21% for a cumulative 100,000 emeralds spent. A lot of events are going to be higher than this. So not a great one for maxing out, in my opinion. All right, taking a quick look at the others. We had Legacy of the Great Ones. So this here, you can see, taking a look at the Spend Emerald task, which is one of the more interesting ones. If you're trying to weigh how much you spend into an event, you can see that the final milestones are far more rewarding than the early ones. So this is the sort of event where you in my opinion, want to go all the way in, or stop after not much above your normal daily spending, because the rewards for these middle tiers of 5 to 40,000 are not that great. If you max the thing out entirely, your cumulative return is 48%, which is really strong. That's better than most of the events out there to get a nearly 50% return. But if you stop here in the middle at 30,000, you're spending 30,000, you only get 30% back. Some of these others are not high either, but this is probably your ordinary. Almost if there was no event, you'd maybe be spending somewhere in this range on energy or whatever you like. All right, and then the Hero Soulstone rewards here, you get 15 per Hero Soulstone, and this is with some of my resource adjustments put in place. Like I value Chaos Core slightly less than like the raw Emerald cost. If you were to open a bunch of the artifact chests, if you don't have a reward imbalance between coins and cores, then this might look more like 20 or something for you. But based on the numbers that I have put into this tool now, it's an average of 15. That's still better than a lot of events that call for Hero Soulstones. So if you have some left over, this is going to be a decent event to spend them. And then here, looking quickly at the Outland chest curve, 73% return for maxing it out is pretty good. Outland tends to be one of the better tasks and one of the better resource types. I mean, if you're spending emeralds in the game, Skin Stones is one of the better places to do it anyway. So this one's pretty strong. I think you may get, the reward cumulative return is a little bit better, a little shy of the final milestone. But not bad even going all the way through the end. Okay, and then spending energy, there is a big spike here in the middle. Milestones that are going to be pretty easy to reach here with even the tiniest bit of spending on that task. But again, 47% for maxing the whole thing out is not bad. I wouldn't rate it a top priority, but it's pretty good return here. And then here again, there is a loot box here, this flawless artifact chest. You open those up and you choose your own resource type, whether it's the weapon, the ring, or the book upgrade. So that gets finalized out to this artifact material, which is like a summary category that I have. Keeping in mind here that an orange one counts as 16. You get 21,600 if you max out the entire event. But you'd have to divide that by 16 if you want to look at the number of orange. This is just a summary that rolls all the different types into one. But yeah, so pretty good amount of coin and core if you go all the way in on this one. All right, and then we'll take a quick look at the color of the night here. It's a light Titan event that's coming, but the tasks and milestones are all the same. So I have every reason to expect that the rewards out of this event will closely match what we just saw a few weeks ago for the Darkness Titans. Okay, so the big events to take a look at are the spending tasks. You can see that the ROI dips down pretty low for almost the entire run of this event. It's pretty good for these early low count milestones of 1,000 or 4,000, whatever. You get a decent return. But then it slumps way down for all of these milestones in the middle, picking back only a little bit again at the very end. So I think this is a low quality event to max out. 21 is a very weak percentage, and the resource types that you're getting out of it are pretty unimpressive as well. You have huge amounts of these summoning spheres and Titan soul stones. These are probably nice for almost everyone, the essence and the artifact spheres, but a lot of it is coming in the form of Titan souls, potions, which are far less interesting. Skin stone's nice. These coins or artifacts, which I'm counting at 12 per artifact fragment. That's a decent reward, but the volume is fairly low. And then this emerald reward is probably, again, coming through the VIP. Yeah, all the emerald rewards come from doing work on this one, which, again, there's going to be very little reason to spend anything during this event because I don't expect there to be a 4x. Okay, so this one you can see, the reward, with the exception of the emerald, is all in the form of these dark particles. They'll be called something else for lightness. But then, if you were to get all 300 of them and open them up, this is what I would expect you to get on average. This may serve as a decent window into what you might get if you go all in on the reward, or all in on this event against my advice. All right, so I hope this helps you guys with your planning. This thing will evolve over time, barely far enough along that it's worth presenting, but I thought I'd get it out there and maybe get a little bit of feedback if you guys have any on this thing. I already know a bunch of additional features and changes that I want to make, but I think it's far enough to at least throw out for an initial look. All right, so again, thanks for sticking it out to the end, and I'll talk to you again soon.